Mm. Mm. Hey hey, coucou, bonjour, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Cyril. I used to be a stem cell researcher for quite some time, and this is why I can tell you about the science behind skincare ingredient. And for today's video, we are going to talk about collagen. Woohoo! So, before I start and really goes into the skincare ingredient that might be interesting and etc., I just want to give you a little shot of a reminder of biology, basically, to tell you a little bit more about collagen and also what we have in what we call actually in biology in the extracellular matrix. I know it sounds very complicated. So, if you just have a look at the skin structure, it is basically composed of three main layers. So the top part is the epidermis. The epidermis by itself is composed of other different layers. The very top one, which is the one that you touch with your skin, is what we call the stratum corneum. And this is very important because this is where you are going to put all your good stuff on it, aka your skincare. And some of the ingredients, but they are not a lot in over-the-counter skincare, can indeed help you with collagen production. Then underneath the epidermis, this is where we have what we call the dermis, and the dermis is very different from the epidermis because the epidermis is basically 100% made of cells that are linked together very tightly, and they basically form this protective layer in a way, like a wall a little bit. But underneath in the dermis is very, very different. This is basically a sort of elastic gel, and in between the gels you have a certain cell type. One of them is simply the fibroblasts. Fibroblasts are the cell that makes the collagen, for example, but it also makes the elastin that provide the elasticity to the skin because it really works like an elastic, literally. There is also the famous hyaluronic acid. Fibroblasts also form hyaluronic acid, which gives a very spongy-like, I would say, feel to the skin, and hyaluronic acid is also so useful to simply hydrate the deep layer of the skin. You also have a very complex molecule that we call proteoglycan and etc. And unfortunately, when we age, especially in the dermis, there is a degradation of the collagen. There is also a degradation of elastin, hyaluronic acid, proteoglycan, so basically all I have talked about. And we don't have much tools, especially in over-the-counter skincare, to really alleviate this, and even the one that we have that are working for sure, there are some limitations that I'm going to talk about. So now if we go and jump right away into the subject, so basically into what we can choose in terms of ingredients, there are several ingredients that have some scientific data to show that they can indeed promote the collagen production, and there is a huge but. It always depends on all the experiments has been done. And this is also why I do think that my input as a former researcher, I can really help you because I basically know how those type of experiments are done. So I know also their limit. And basically you probably already know it. Whatever you are going to buy in over-the-counter basically product, if you go to Sephora and etc., you are not going to see tremendous results, especially when you have saggy skin and etc. So the first class of molecule is of course the holy grail of them all, which is the retinoids class. So the first one is of course the famous retinol. If you are not new to my channel, you have already heard me talking about this one for such a long time. This is definitely the one that I recommend you in over the skincare, or go to your dermatologist to get tretinoin. So in the retinoid, the first one is of course retinol. Why I do always promote retinol over the other one actually in over-the-counter skincare is simply because we have some good demonstration that when applied on human skin, so on us for real, in real life, we have indeed an increase of production of collagen, and this has been demonstrated especially thanks to one method, which is what we call an immunostaining. So it's basically done on human skin. A little piece of the skin has been taken, and this experiment has been done to see if the protein, so if the collagen is increased with retinol. We are lacking this type of data with retinal, for example, unfortunately. I'm pretty convinced that retinaldehyde is at least as efficient as 1% retinol, but because we don't have the proof, and I'm here to give you like the best of my knowledge, and this is also why I use retinol and not retinaldehyde. So yeah, this is basically why I do think that I can have like a major impact also, and I don't say this to be shady towards dermatologists. Dermatologists, they are doctors, so they are trained, of course, to diagnose any medical issue with your skin, and this is definitely those doctors that you need to see if you have any issue with your skin, obviously. And they are also a little bit trained into clinical research. Clinical research is very, very different from the rest of research, and they are not going to have the same input as me for the experiments, for how the experiments are done and etc. And this is really crucial. Anyway, this is not really the topic of today, but basically this is why I recommend you retinol and not retinaldehyde. There is also some esters of retinol. Basically, those ones are pretty crappy. They are most likely not working, or like at a really, really low level, so don't even bother. There are also like those new molecules like Granactive, which is hydroxypinacolone retinoate. They may work, but we are, again, really lacking like the proper in vivo data. Definitely, if you are past your 30s, you start to have like some sign of aging, etc., especially a little bit more of a saggy skin. It's retinol or tretinoin, really. If you want to start with tretinoin, what I would encourage you is to start with a low concentration of retinol. The one that I always recommend is the new one from Paula Choice, the 0.3 retinol plus 2% bakuchiol. You do it for at least a month to 2 months. Then you increase the concentration again with the Paula Choice with the 1% treatment. This one also is amazing. By the way, I also have a review of the 0.3 if you really want to have like all the details. And once you have been using the 1% retinol for at least 2 months, you can go and ask your doctor to jump to tretinoin. Like this, it will be way gentler for you to just get used to tretinoin. It will be way easier than to start like right away. Most people are very, very sensitive and irritating with tretinoin, especially in the beginning. There is also another molecule that most likely also could help with collagen production, which is bakuchiol, the same one as you find in the new product, the 0.3 plus 2% bakuchiol. This one seems to have similar effect to retinol, but this is not a retinoin in the sense that it does not work the same way, but it seems also to induce collagen production. Again, we are definitely lacking some like proper data. The other class are vitamin C and all the derivative of vitamin C. For vitamin C, I think like the first data are around the 80s or something like that, because this is how we understood that vitamin C is actually crucial for the synthesis of collagen. So basically when your fibroblast deep down in the dermis say, hey madam, I need to produce collagen, they need vitamin C. The problem, of course, is that when you are going to apply vitamin C on your skin, it is most likely going to penetrate into the epidermis. This has been demonstrated in the pig model skin. I always have a hard time to tell you this. But in the dermis, most likely it is not going to go that far in the dermis. So again, vitamin C, this is something that I always tell you, seems to be very, very interesting as an antioxidant for the epidermis. It also has like some skin brightening effect, especially if you're suffering from hyperpigmentation. Is it, in my opinion, like a gold standard ingredient for this? Not really. There are plenty of other ingredients that are also very interesting for hyperpigmentation. But as an antioxidant, it is an excellent one. So I see vitamin C more like a molecule to help your skin to age like at a slower pace, to basically feed like this antioxidant. For sure, having a proper diet. By proper diet, I mean eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. They are high in vitamin C, and most likely this vitamin C will be way more efficient in your dermis than the one that you are going to apply on the skin. Now for the derivative of vitamin C, this is when it starts to be like very blurry, because we basically do not really know. The data that we have, they all have been done in vitro, so very, very far from reality. So I really doubt that they are really going to do much. Some of them could be also antioxidant, but again, not really sure about that. For sure, vitamin C is easier. And the last class is peptide. If you have seen my recent video about anti-aging and peptides, you can go and check it out. Some peptides, again, they are reported also to boost the collagen production, especially one of them because it has like the same pattern as collagens, because peptides are also basically proteins, but tiny proteins. But now, again, when applied on the skin, are they really going to do a major difference? Most likely not. So at the end, in over-the-counter skincare, the only like real molecule is retinol, most likely also retinaldehyde, and then this is tretinoin. The other one, they are like a sort of plus, and basically you can check my morning and my evening routine if you want to know more about my anti-aging routine. But this is also why I don't really bother using peptides, because most likely they are just beautiful humectants. Basically, that's it. Of course, if you now want to seek the help of a professional, there are other techniques that can help. I'm thinking about, of course, lasers, like the CO2, for example. I'm also thinking about microneedling. Microneedling, when done by a doctor, please do not do it by an esthetician or someone like that, simply because microneedling is basically created like small holes in your skin, and you want to make sure that it is being done in a proper way, because you don't want to get to have an infection. You also have techniques that use radiofrequency and etc. But all those techniques, they needs to be handled by a doctor and someone that is really well trained to use those techniques. And there are those type of professionals that will really help you to tell you, oh, you need these techniques, you need these techniques plus the other one, and etc. And I've learned a little bit about those techniques thanks to my friend. His name is Dr. Kato. We have been known each others for years and years. I think the last time we I probably know him since like 15 years ago. He was still doing his medical studies. It was way before I did even my PhD in biology. So crazy, but anyway, go and seek the help of a doctor if you really want like to have a more major impact on your skin. So basically that's it for today. So comment down below, tell me what you thought about this video, if it has been useful to you. Of course, like always, I'm going to link all the products down below. And then, you know the drill. If you did like the video, give it a big thumbs up. If you are new, consider to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget the notification bell. Of course, I have also 2 Instagram accounts, one in English and one in French. And well, basically that's it, beautiful people. So thank you so much for your time and your trust, and see you next time. Au revoir.